residency, your points for education for a master's level are going to be
higher. Yes.
Doing a bachelor's. So if you're somebody who really wants to go to Canada, don't try to jump the gun and try to get in there at the graduate level. Go for the master's level. What else you got for me?
Yes. So one obvious question that a lot of, at least Pakistani students, ask us, that is STS visa really better in terms of, the approval rates?
I think it's a myth. I think it's a myth, right? I think a lot of people sitting in Pakistan working or STS approved, I guess right now our main audience is Pakistani, so I'll speak to the Pakistani. There's a myth that you cannot get approved for a Canadian visa if it's not through an STS, if it's not through STS. So STS is an option for Pakistanis to utilize. It's not mandatory. It does theoretically your chances of approval because it requires such a heavy upfront investment, financially. So you have to open a GIC block or a block GIC account. You have to transfer that money from from Pakistan to Canada. So that money doesn't stay with you. It needs to be transferred. And then you have to pay your first year of tuition upfront. Once you do that, the benefit is what? The benefit is you don't have to necessarily show any additional, finances for proof of settlement funds. Processing time does tend to be faster. And in theory, it's supposed to be more persuasive for the visa officer to see an SDS application. But I don't believe so. I think really what matters is who your consult is and what kind of job they're doing to, your study plan, I think, is more important than whether or not you go through SDS or non-SDS. True, non-SDS might take more time, but you can get away with only paying your first semester of tuition, and whatever money that you would have otherwise put into your GIC account, you can keep it in Pakistan, but it needs to be liquid. It needs to meet some other criteria for authenticity. And at the end of the day, we have to convince the visa officer that you do meet the requirements. So it depends on the consultant. It depends on the quality of the application, how you put it together, how persuasive your study plan is. Have you made the right choice? Have you made the right choice for your, whatever you decided to study? Does it make sense with what you want to do, what you have done, et cetera, et cetera? So STS or non-STS, as that sort of decision is not what's going to make or break your application, in my opinion. A lot of people may agree with me, but in my opinion, I worked on so many applications that went through the non-STS route, and even though there were some refusals, we eventually got them approved. So, to me, the most important thing is the other stuff, like your study plan.
So, Mujtaba, that brings me to the next question, which I think is quite related to this. So, 𝐕𝐻𝑢 Immigration is a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, which a lot of, agents, as we call them, study abroad agents in Pakistan are not regulated. They're not registered in Canada. So, what benefit does that bring to a student applying through a registered consultant versus a non-regulated consultant?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, when we say we're regulated, it means like we actually have a governing body that monitors our actions.